This is the secret interior of a remarkable wildlife haven. It's massive, it hosts thousands of creatures, and it's centuries old. It's an oak tree in Windsor Great Park, much loved by naturalist Ted Green.
Right behind me, I've got a fantastic 600-year-old tree, 600 years of history. 29 kings and queens have seen this tree, and some of them must have picnicked under it in the past. On top of that, you've got 600 years of biodiversity. That's wildlife.
Not only is it one of the oldest living things in Britain, it's also one of the heaviest.
When you're considering the weight of this tree, and you take into account the root systems, it's got this great big trunk and these huge branches and great big spreading crown, I think it probably weighs between 20 and 30 tonnes. One of the fascinating things about veteran oaks is they're all hollow, and the hollowing action is carried out by decomposing fungi. They literally decompose out the centre of the tree, the heartwood, and the heartwood is just dead wood. And then the hollow tree becomes a fascinating habitat for wildlife.
There could be as many as 1,000 hornets living in an oak tree, or hundreds of bats, or it could be used by 30 types of bird.
This great big hollow tube too, I see as a strategy for survival, because by being hollow, you're supple, you're very, very light on your roots. So all these hurricanes and gales which this tree must have seen over the last 600 years hasn't affected it one iota. It's still here. So hollowing is healthy, it's a natural process, and it's a strategy for survival.
So how does an ancient oak keep going?
This is one part, the business end of the tree. This is a buttress root. It serves two purposes. One is to actually support the tree, especially in the high winds which we get in Britain. But the other is to be, if you like, the conduit for all the millions of roots which go for maybe up to 50 metres away from the tree. And these roots, as they get finer and finer, are looking for minerals and nutrients and water. But fundamental to those roots are the fungi which colonise them. And they're called mycorrhizal fungi. And they really are essential to the tree because they help convert these minerals and nutrients. And we know that some of those fungi can be centuries old. The bark is an excellent habitat for many creatures, providing all sorts of nooks and crannies in these deep crevices, but its main purpose is to provide the tree with protection and insulation for the living tissue just behind this bark. And the living tissue are pipeways running vertically up the tree, and these pipeways can pump water right to the top of the tree, something like 60 feet up, then bring down carbohydrates and other food for the roots.
But for Ted to get up 60 feet, it takes a lot of heavy equipment.
Here I am in the tree's canopy. I'm surrounded by thousands and thousands of leaves. Each one is a miniature factory. It's using the sun's energy to convert carbon dioxide into food for the tree and give off oxygen.
And there are loads of tiny creatures that are after that food as well.
We know for a fact there are at least 420 species of insects which eat the leaves alone on this tree. There are amazing things called bagworms, which create a sleeping bag from which they can eat the leaves in safety.
And some insects have a bizarre effect on the tree.
I can see something else below me down there. Joe, can you go down about a foot? What I can actually see are two galls. The common name for them would be oak apples, and they're caused by little wasps which actually lay eggs into the oak flowers, and the oak flowers actually produce this vegetative growth which has got tiny little grubs in it. This will go hard later on, and that's where we get the name oak apple, because you get these little woody marbles which stay on the tree until the next summer, when they actually hatch out again and the whole process starts again.
But not all wildlife exploits the oak.
Later on in the year, this tree is going to have lots of acorns on it, and when it's got those acorns, its best friend's going to be here, and its best friend is the jay, because the jay collects those acorns and takes them away and buries them as a larder for the winter. But because it's got a poor memory, some of those acorns will survive until the next spring and become the little trees of the future.
And this tiny plant would witness 20 human generations before it reached the size of Ted's ancient oak.
There are two spectacular butterflies that live up here in the canopy. Interestingly, they're both purple. One is the purple hair streak and the other is a really big butterfly called the purple emperor. Although it doesn't actually live on the oak, the males take up territories up here and defend them against other males, and sometimes they engage in spectacular dogfights around the canopy. Interestingly, the caterpillars live on sallow and the adults live on sap and honeydew, so they don't feed actually on the oak. Well, here I am, right in the top of the canopy of a tree, and it's unique for me and it's strange, and I'm full of wonder. I can see 600 years of life, 600 years of biodiversity, 600 years of history, all below me. I can see lichens on the branches, I can see where a woodpecker's been working. And yet when we really do think of exotic ecosystems, we think of the Galapagos or we think of the tropical rainforest. But right here underneath me, in Britain, is an ecosystem which has taken 600 years to develop. It's an incredible experience.